Welcome to another Facebook live session, Juju live session. I'm Joana Saahirah, and in this live session, I'm gonna answer some of the most interesting questions that I have received in more than 20 years of career and study and practice of Egyptian dance, specifically about traveling steps, the movements that we use to explore the space around us, and also personal charisma, magnetism, and how we project ourselves when we move around, when we move in an extroverted, big way. Okay? So if you're interested in Egyptian dance and if you'd like to share your questions, this is the moment to do so. Be here with me and feel welcome to share your questions and your comments in the comments area here live on Facebook. If you don't know me yet, I'm gonna do a short introduction that I already know by heart. I'm a world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, author, and I'm also the creator of the pioneering Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's online dance school, delivering authentic Egyptian dance, personal discovery, and empowerment. And soon, I'm also gonna be the author of a few beautiful new ventures, amongst them a podcast, my own podcast, something that I have in the works for a long time, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to announce them. Stay tuned, okay? Now, without further ado, traveling steps in Egyptian dance and personal charisma. So my first question to you, before I read the questions that I have selected and answer them, is what is the importance of traveling steps? Because in Egyptian dance, we have this idea that we only move in our own place. Everything is so focused on the hips and the belly. That's the idea most people have of Egyptian dance, of the so-called belly dance. And the truth is, if you learn Egyptian dance from a professional dancer, from a professional teacher, you realize that we are working the entire body. We're not only focusing on hips and womb, we're working the entire body, and we're also moving around the space. We're exploring the space outside of our personal space, okay? So that's the function of traveling steps, but let me know if you like them, if you know what they are, how do you learn them, when do you use them, for what? Okay, let me know in the comments. And also if you think that personal charisma is important in Egyptian dance. And in a second, I'm gonna tell you why I connected these two subjects, traveling steps and personal charisma. They are connected, they are linked, but let me know what you think. Is charisma important in Egyptian dance? Is charisma important for Oriental dancers? Is charisma important in our daily life? Do we need magnetism? Do we need charisma? Do we need a presence? Is that even useful for anything? Let me know in the comments, okay? Now, first question that I have is not really a question. It's a base to start our Juju live session, which is, what is a traveling step? Or what are traveling steps, right? Because I may assume everyone knows what I'm talking about, and then people don't know what I'm talking about. So traveling steps are, as the name indicates, the steps or the movements that dancers use to travel around the space, to move around the space. Now, before Badia Masabni, the mother of modern Oriental dance, came along, traveling steps were not very much used. Okay, there was a bigger focus on the work, the dance work that we do on the spot. From the moment Badia Masabni came into the picture, from the moment she launched her dancers into the big stage of Casino Opera and other stages she hosted, she had throughout her career, there was a bigger need to feel a big stage, to feel a big space, and to project the body and the emotions at a distance in different directions, because the audience was spread all over the place and a little bit more far than usual from the dancers. So traveling steps had a big evolutionary step, if you like, in the moment Badia Masabni came into the Egyptian dance scene and decided to create a revolution in our dance, okay? Aside from that, traveling steps are the ones that we use when the music is asking us to run, when the music is asking us to go outside of ourselves. And that is something that dancers must feel, okay? There is no book, no set of rules that will tell you this is when you stop, this is when you slow down, this is when you run, this is when you spread your wings and fly, this is when you run all over the place, this is when you stay put. There is no book for that. You actually have to listen to the music and feel, what am I being asked to do? Okay, it's a kind of flow and respect for the music. And then the traveling steps will usually be useful when the music is asking you to go out, when the music is asking you to be more extroverted, more communicative with the outside world, not so much with your inner world, okay? So that's the meaning of traveling steps. That's the meaning of traveling steps in Egyptian dance specifically, okay? Now, I'm gonna read the questions, and while I'm answering the questions I selected, feel welcome once more to share your own questions and to share your own comments. Then again, let me know how and when do you use traveling steps in your dance, and also if you think that charisma is important for your dance or not. Maybe it's not important, okay? Let me know in the comments. Now, first question. Is Egyptian dance only based on hip movements? Okay, I think this is a classic. Okay, I guess every professional Oriental dancer and teacher has heard some version of this question. Okay, is Egyptian dance technique, is the repertoire of Egyptian dance movement exclusively centered around the hips? This is one of those ideas that most people have, even people who are taking classes. I don't mean people who have nothing to do with Egyptian dance. Very often students and sometimes even professionals, they think that Egyptian dance technique is a Shakira hips don't lie kind of thing, okay? So basically they don't imagine there is a very rich movement in Egyptian dance in your upper body, in your arms, in your hands, in your head, on your feet, with your legs. And traveling steps are a big part of that wide range of vocabulary that most people don't believe it's inside of the Egyptian dance repertoire, and it actually is, okay? So traveling steps are connected mostly with feet and legs. And the thing is, Oriental dancers are not trained usually to work feet and legs. It is as if their dance started from the hips up, okay? And then if they follow through, if they continue studying, there comes a time when they feel they are limited. They feel they don't have enough colors, enough variety of movement, enough vocabulary. They feel bored. And one of the reasons for that to happen is the absence of traveling steps. They have not developed their feet work, their leg work, and traveling steps. Now, I cannot talk about traveling steps without talking about Mahmoud Reda. And I can tell you something. I have learned gorgeous traveling steps from all of my teachers, but especially my number one, Mahmoud Reda. And there is a reason for it. It's not only the fact that Mahmoud was this incredible genius and icon and amazing teacher, aside from many other wonderful stuff, but his technique, his style, the Reda style, was based in feet work and leg work and traveling steps. There was a lot of traveling around the space, a lot of stage traveling, stage exploration, space exploration. So I learned most of my traveling steps from Mahmoud himself, and most of the awareness of how to use the space around me from him as well, okay? Because here's the thing, you don't need only to develop your feet work and your leg work. You need to develop your notion of center and directions. Without the awareness of center and directions, you cannot have good traveling steps and you cannot explore the space around you efficiently. So when people ask me, is Egyptian dance just about the hips or just about the womb? I know where they're coming from. I know why they ask me that, but the answer is a clear no. Yes, there is a focus on that particular part of the body because it's like the movement came from the womb and it finished in the womb, even if it doesn't. What do I mean by this? Sometimes I may be doing, let's say, a solo with my hands, okay? And you may think this has nothing to do with the womb, but the energy comes from the womb. So in Egyptian dance, your womb energy and your womb muscles are always engaged. So the movement blooms from there and it finishes there somehow in many different ways. But the movement is not reduced to the hips and to the womb. So it is a little bit hard to explain outside of a dance class, okay? Just in theory, it's hard to explain, but that's basically it, okay? No. Egyptian dance is not only about the hips and the womb. It has a lot of vocabulary, a lot of dance movements all over our body, okay? We use the entire body. We use our mind, our creativity, our intelligence, our sensibility. We use our heart, that is our emotional luggage, our emotional memories. We use our soul as well, yeah? We ought to dance from our soul if we're doing it right as well, okay? Now, second question I have selected for you. And this is a big one that I also receive, not only in relation to traveling steps, but in general, okay? Do I need to become an extrovert in order to learn traveling steps? Okay. So the question about traveling steps and every kind of movement that pulls you out of your cocoon is that, in a way, yes, you have to develop your extrovert quality. And some of you will tell me, but I'm an introvert. So does that mean I have to pretend to be someone that I'm not, or I have to become someone that I'm not? Recently at our school, one of our gorgeous students, she asked me something about this also, related with how far do I need to change in order to learn Egyptian dance, and specifically movements that are gonna ask for a version of me that is not how I see myself. So you usually see dancers who are very introvert, who are very comfortable being inside their own cocoon, who are subtle, who are delicate, who are not loud. And then you have other dancers who are very loud, okay, all over the place, very strong, very extroverted. And very often, being in one of these extremes means you cannot be in the middle. Usually, if you are in the extremes, you cannot be in the middle. And I think that Egyptian dance, just like life, it proposes an approximation to the middle. So what do I mean by this? It's not about becoming an extrovert if you're not an extrovert, okay? It is not about becoming an introvert if you're not an introvert. So there is the other way around. There are movements and specific steps in Egyptian dance that will pull you in, and some of us are unable to be with ourselves. So that's another problem, okay? So when I invite a dancer to go inside herself or himself and be there, be with their inner world, some of those dancers don't know how to do that. They only know how to be out there and communicate with others. They don't know how to communicate with themselves. That's the opposite problem. But with traveling steps, you usually have introverts or people who are shy telling me, oh, no. I cannot launch myself with such power. I cannot do such big movements. I cannot do such big steps and run in all sorts of directions like Superwoman. I can't. I'm shy. I'm insecure. I'm an introvert at heart, Joanna. Why are you asking me to be someone that I'm not? And the question is, I would never ask a student of mine to become someone they're not. Quite the opposite. What I ask is what I have been through with Egyptian dance, and something that I still experience in Egyptian dance, which is expansion. So I said this in a video recently, and I know if you don't know me for a long time, you will probably not believe me, but I was extremely shy, extremely insecure, okay? Extremely insecure. In some ways, I still am. In some ways, because I'm human, okay? I work on it every day, but I'm just human in the end of the day. I was so shy that I was always the last student in a class, in everything, in regular school, in dance school, in music school. I was always trying to become invisible, believe it or not. And when I started studying Egyptian dance, I noticed that I could not be invisible anymore. The dance itself demanded a new version of me. It did not demand that I changed who I was. It just asked me to get out of my comfort zone. And my comfort zone was invisibility. I didn't want people to see me. I was so insecure and so shy that I felt they're going to criticize me, they're not going to like me, they're not going to love me, they're not going to see me as I am. So let me be invisible as possible. Egyptian dance does not allow that. And that's a good thing. It doesn't mean you have to become another person. It just means that you have to lose your fears. You have to lose your insecurities or go with them, work with them. And you have to gain self-confidence, and you have to gain the ability to be seen. Fearlessly or fearfully being seen for who you really are. Even if others don't like you, look, not everybody's gonna like you. And the more you expose yourself, and the more you love yourself, and the more you bring to the table, the more you will attract. You will attract a lot of people who adore you, who admire you, who support you, who love seeing you, and people who hate you, cannot stand you just because, for no reason. They cannot stand you. So we have to accept not everyone is gonna like us, and it's not their job to like us. It is our job to like us, okay? It's not people's job to like me. Why would it be? I'm not the center of the world. It's my job to like myself. And then some will like me and some won't. And it's fine. And it should be the same for you, okay? So when we work on traveling steps and when we expose ourselves, because that's what traveling steps will ask you to do, you have to expose yourself. You cannot hide and be lunar. You have to be very solar. You have to be very shining. You have to be, a little bit of a diva, if you like, in the best possible sense of the word, okay? So it's not about becoming an extroverted. It's about developing the extroverted that also resides in you. Then again, believe it or not, I'm still an introvert. Can you believe this? I am still an introvert. If you ask me, where do I stand? I consider myself an introvert. I'm very comfortable standing with myself and with my loved ones in my intimacy. But I also learned that there is so much I can only get and I can only learn if I connect with the outside world. There is a lot we can gain from connecting with ourselves and staying there, but that is not enough. Human beings are social beings, and for many reasons. We learn from each other. We need human connection. We need human communication. So building bridges with the outside world is not necessarily a betrayal to who you are. If you consider yourself an introvert, it's an expansion of who you are. It's getting out of your comfort zone and allowing yourself to be seen, okay? So, next question. Extra dose of coffee, guys, because I'm so sleepy and tired today. I hope it doesn't show on my face, but I'm very sleepy and tired. So, next question. How can I project my energy when I move around? How can I project my energy when I move around? This is still related to traveling steps. Because traveling steps, as I explained, are the movements and the steps we use to move around the exterior space, the space around us, okay? How can I project my energy? I just recently, I recorded a video about this, and it's available at Joana Saahirah's YouTube channel. So if you're interested, check how to be a magnetic dancer. And And I share a few tips there on that video about projection of energy and magnetism. I can share a few more with you. So here's the thing, when you're dancing, you're not only projecting yourself physically, you're projecting yourself energetically. A dancer is not only made of a physical body, a dancer is energy. Human beings are energy. We are energy. Okay? So when you study Egyptian dance, you have to consider the visible dance, which is the physical body that you see, and you have to consider the invisible dance, the energy. And what is the energy? It's the energy we are made of. We are condensed energy. This is why we can see ourselves in this third dimension, because it's condensed, but this is energy. If you saw your hand under a microscope, you would see atoms moving. It's energy, condensed, okay? But there is more. The invisible dance that I explore in my first published book, The Secrets of Egypt, Dance, Life and Beyond, it's about our thoughts, it's about our sensations, it's about our feelings, it's about our energetic frequency, your vibration. Where do you vibrate? Imagine that I'm vibrating in rage, in sadness, in fear. My energetic frequency would be low. Now imagine that I'm vibrating in love, in passion, in joy, in hope, in enthusiasm. My energy is going to vibrate higher. There will be a higher frequency that you cannot see, but you can feel. And this is something that is so particular for Egyptian dance. It's one of the things I love the most about Egyptian dance. It's the thing that very often you don't fall in love with an Oriental dancer because of the physical movements. You fall in love with an Oriental dancer because of how she or he makes you feel. It's the invisible dance that works. It's the energy, it's the emotion, it's the aura. It's that part of the dance that really moves you way beyond the physical, way beyond. It's so much more powerful than physical movement. It's that moment when you have a dancer moving and then stops. There is no physical movement, but there is so much energy. So much life, so much life. And sometimes all it takes, it's taking a deep breath in the middle of a dance piece. You go like, and it's so full of life. It's so captivating. So that's the invisible dance, okay? So how can I project my energy when I move around? The first thing is that you gotta know you are energy. And you have to train yourself to project the best possible energy. So then again, if you are dancing perfectly, perfect dance, perfect choreography, I see a lot of that in competitions, for instance, but your energy is vibrating low, you are afraid, or you are very competitive, you're feeling a little bit bitchy, it's gonna pull you down. It's gonna bring your dance down. It's gonna bring your magnetism down. It's gonna project you in a very wrong, distasteful way. So you have to take care of this awareness of knowing you are energy. And your dance is not only made of the physical movements that we can see, it's made out of energy too, okay? Second thing to project yourself when you're using traveling steps, especially, has to do with opening 3 specific chakras or centers of energy. The 2nd chakra, the 4th chakra, and the 6th chakra. So the 2nd chakra or center of energy is in the womb, like two fingers below the navel, okay? The 4th chakra is the heart chakra here in the middle of your chest. And the 6th chakra is the 3rd eye right here. It's the 3rd vision. So in order to project yourself in dance as in life, you need to walk, to move around with these 3 chakras mainly completely open. And not only open but engaged. What do I mean? So you can open these chakras through your physical posture. You can literally open your chest, literally open your hips, have them available and wide, and raise your head, not like this, but also not lowering your gaze. Having this good, proud, natural stance that allows the energy from your third eye to flow, okay? You can close your eyes, you can feel the energy of your womb, you can feel the energy of your heart, you can even touch your heart every once in a while, and you can allow intuition and soul and feeling, deep feeling, to move through you and to move through these three basic chakras, okay? And the more you engaged with them, the more you open them physically, energetically, the more you will project yourself, and the more your presence will fill the room, okay? People call it charisma, okay? I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? Why would? Always a funny story. A few years ago, I think I shared this story recently, I'm not sure. A few years ago, I was teaching in a festival in Barcelona, in Spain. And I met a couple, very famous couple from Argentina. They had met me in Argentina, where I had been invited to teach and to perform. I love Argentina. I was always received, I cannot tell, with so much love. I feel like I'm going back home every time I go to Argentina, and to my dear Pablito and Martin, the organizers of the belly dance weekend in Buenos Aires. I was always very well received. And this couple is from Argentina. So they crossed paths with me in the lobby of the hotel, and they said hello to me, but with a little reticence. And they told me something that I knew was meant to offend me. I understood it was a veiled offense, but it actually made me feel so proud and so happy. They told me, oh, we know that you are very famous in our country, in Argentina. You know why? Because you're so charismatic. It's not because of your dance, it's because you're so charismatic. And again, I understood the intention was not to compliment me, okay? Because if you're a professional dancer, you want to be known from your dance, by the quality of your dance. You don't want to be known because you're so charismatic. And by the way, I don't even think I'm that charismatic. I'm just who I am, whatever, you know. I'm real, that's for sure. I'm real and I'm honest. And I do things from my heart and from my soul, with fire, with passion. That's true. But charisma is highly relative. The thing is, they meant it as an offense. Like, you are not known for your dance is not that good, but you're so charismatic that it made you famous in our country. Okay. I said, all right, thank you. For me, that's a compliment, because I know the quality of my dance. I'm very aware of it, but I was not so aware that they would think I'm that charismatic, that they would think charisma would be that powerful. How can you be so well known in a country just because of your charisma? Oh my God, it should be the bomb, you know? I felt it was, a compliment behind the attempt to offend me. And it made me think, about charisma and projecting our presence and how important that is. Whenever you're dancing, you're bringing yourself to the table. So there is a side of Egyptian dance that is not defined by your dance, it's defined by you, the person. I tell you another story. I noticed when I started performing in Cairo that people would take me in, especially Egyptian audiences, they would take me in or out, in the sense of being interested in me or not, even before I started to move. Even before I started to dance, I would often go into the stage, stay with my musicians, just talk with them a few seconds before we start. And they, and by they I mean the audience, would already know if they liked me, even before I started to dance. They had decided, oh, this is a good one. We like her. We want to watch her. Why? Because of my energy, because of the person. Of course, if they saw me dance and there was nothing there, it wouldn't make the cut. But even before I danced, the decision of who is this person, do I like her, do I want to watch her, it was already made. So you have to watch out that as a dancer, but not only as a dancer, in our daily life, in our interactions. If you go for a job interview, people are gonna read you and your aura and your charisma and your presence and your energetic frequency. And if they don't like you on a personal level, if you don't bring something positive with your presence, chances are that communication, it's not gonna succeed. Whatever you want to achieve with that interaction, it's not gonna flow, because we are humans and we communicate in many different ways, non-verbal ways, non-physical ways also. And Egyptian dance is a clear example of that. So whenever you're doing traveling steps, whenever you're dancing, whenever you're living, consider what am I bringing to the table as a person? You see? What am I bringing to the table right now? I'm here with you and my coffee. I'm answering some questions I selected about traveling steps in Egyptian dance and charisma. Okay, but what am I bringing energetically? How do I make you feel when you look at me in this camera, in this screen, and when you feel me? What am I bringing? Am I bringing you rage? Am I bringing you hatred? Am I bringing you something that makes you feel down? I hope not, because I take care of my energetic frequency. I hope I'm bringing you joy and passion and enthusiasm. That's what I want you to feel. And that is parallel to what I am sharing with you in terms of the content I have prepared for this session. So watch out for charisma. It can make or break a deal in dance as in life, okay? Something else that you can do in order to project your energy is something that most dancers don't even consider, okay? And it is the belief that you have something to offer. And I don't mean in terms of dance. You can be the most experienced dancer in the world, okay? You can know all the steps. You can have all the vocabulary. You can have all the experience. But if you don't believe that as a human being, you are carrying gifts that are worth distributing, sharing with others, that you are an interesting person. In other words, I think this is a good way of putting it. If you don't believe you are an interesting person, things are not gonna work. Because even if you're projecting yourself physically with big movements, traveling big movements, your energy will contradict the movement. You're gonna be moving full on. Oh man, I'm the diva and I don't know what. But your energy will be saying, no, I'm nothing. Don't even look at me because I have nothing to offer. So there is this concept that I use in my work, and my students have heard about this, especially the students that study with me in my private coaching. I have a lot of dancers who are already professional dancers and are studying with me. Not all, but some of them are professionals. And I tell them, who are you when you're dancing? Are you the queen or are you the beggar? And what do I mean by this? This is a mentality issue. When I have the beggar's mentality, I have the victim mentality. I have the poor me mentality. Give me applause. I'm dancing so that you tell me I'm great. I'm dancing asking you for something. I'm dancing because I want people to tell me I'm fabulous, that I'm beautiful, that I'm sexy, that I am good enough. I'm not dancing to give you something or to share something. The movement in the beggar's mindset is the opposite. Is I have nothing. So I'm gonna dance to get something from you, to get something from the outside. The queen's mindset is the opposite. I don't need your applause. It would be nice, if I'm performing. Of course, it's wonderful to receive applause. It's wonderful for people to love what we do and to love us and to feel us. It's wonderful, but it is a bonus. I'm not dancing to ask you for applause or for approval, because I have applauded myself already and I have approved of myself already, And that is particularly important if you perform professionally. or if you want to perform professionally. But it's also important in our daily lives, in our relationships. How are you relating with your partner, for instance, if you have one? As a beggar or as a queen, as a king? Are you constantly begging for, or are you so full? Is your cup so full that you're overflowing? Your cup runneth over. Are you generous? Are you passionate? Are you the lover who brings the flowers? Are you the lover who says, I love you first? Because that's the queen's mindset. And it's something that brings this aura, this magnetism, this warmth to your dance and to your life. So we can always choose between the mindset of the beggar, I'm a victim, I have nothing, I'm not interesting enough, so guys, tell me I'm cool. Applaud me. Or you can applaud yourself and bring the mindset of the queen to your dance and to your life. And then there is shine. You know, there is life. There is beauty overflowing. There is nice stuff coming out of you. And that's attractive. That's magnetic. Okay? And curiously, that's what will attract more rapport from others. So even as a professional performer, I know that when I bring the queen's mindset to the stage, my audience is going to react accordingly. So although I'm not there begging for their attention and their applause, when they see the bountiful gifts that I'm sharing with them, they're gonna answer back, because it's always a dialogue. It's a dialogue. It's not me showing that I'm so cool. It's a dialogue. So the more you give, the more you receive. But first you have to know that you have to give. And you have a lot to give. You have to know it. And the problem is most people think they don't have enough. What am I going to give? I mean, I'm not even interesting to start with. That's the basic problem. And that is one of the biggest reasons why dancers don't have the charisma they could have, and why they do not bring their traveling steps and their movements to full bloom. Okay? Guys, I'm not hearing from you. Let me know if you're enjoying this session, and let me know if you have any questions so far, okay? Otherwise, I'll just keep answering the questions I have selected, okay? Now, next question. Okay. How can I project my energy when I move around, when I use my traveling steps? So how can I project my energy when I move around and when I use my traveling steps? I think I've already started to answer. I may add a few more directions that I think may be helpful, okay? So you can project your energy when you're using traveling steps, and you can project your aura, your charisma, your presence even further by developing your masculine polarity. Yeah. So let's see if I can explain this in a few words. It's not easy. Egyptian dance is so much associated with the feminine polarity, the moon, the womb, the receptivity, the subtlety, stillness, softness, fluidity, water. But Egyptian dance as life is a balance between masculine and feminine polarities. So you're not only invited to go in, you're also invited to go out, which is masculine polarity, okay? The yin and the yang of the Taoism, okay? So a good dance and a good life is composed out of the balance, or an approximation to the balance between yin and yang, the day and the night, stillness and movement, silence and music, introspection and communication with the outside world, going slow and going fast. There is a balance, there are dynamics. Everything that lives, everything that is fully alive, it's not either feminine or masculine, it's both. Everything that is fully alive, it's not either masculine or feminine, it's both. Men and women and everything else in nature carries both principles, both polarities, okay? The masculine and the feminine. But for traveling steps and in the area of charisma and projection of energy, you need to develop your masculine polarity. And again, this is something that most dancers don't know they have to do. And if they do know, They have to do it. They don't know how to do it. How do I develop my masculine polarity so that I can have a stronger presence? Okay. And if you want to know more about that, of course, this is not the place for me to develop it, because it's a long subject. And a lot of the exercises I do with my students inside the masculine polarity, they are practical exercises. So you would have to be with me in a class. If you want to know more about this, I will invite you to join our school, Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School, or check my private coaching programs if you like. I'm going to share the links to both in the comments to this video, okay? And if you're going to watch this live replayed in my YouTube channel, I'm going to share the links in the description box if you want to learn more about this. But certainly developing your masculine polarity is something that you need to do in order to project yourself more powerfully in dance as in life, again. So when we talk about traveling steps, and when we talk about projecting your energy, we're talking about our ability to act, our ability to move forward. That energy that tells you, oh, I'm gonna make that happen. Wait a second, I'm gonna make that happen. Go, woo, I went. This is masculine polarity. The feminine polarity is that side of you, it's that part of you that tells you, no, let it come to me. I will attract that. I will sit still and see what happens. And then again, we need both. Sometimes the best thing you gotta do is stop. Just stop. Don't do anything. Stop. And sometimes you gotta run for your life. Okay? So you have to watch out. When is what? When you're being asked to stop and be receptive and be the moon, and when you're being asked to move forward and to make things happen and be the sun. That's traveling steps. And that's projecting your energy and yourself in your dance and in your life. What else can I share with you? You can project your energy better by losing the fear of being seen for who you truly are. Now, see something. We live in a world full of edited versions of everything. It's the world of social media. It's the world of Instagram. It's the world of edited everything. So we see edited versions of pieces of people's lives, but we presume that's the reality, okay? And I think there is a crisis in honesty and transparency. Very rarely you will see someone who is totally okay with being who they are without the need of a mask, without the need to, to play the diva or to play the star. It's rare to see authenticity and simplicity these days. But the thing is, in order to project yourself, you have to be seen for who you truly are. There are no masks allowed. There are no pretending allowed. There is no pretending allowed. It's pure honesty. And the more you allow yourself to be seen in all your light and in all your darkness, the more you will shine, because honesty is powerful, especially in dancers. But I would say in life, who doesn't like honesty? Who doesn't like honesty? Who doesn't like to deal with people who say what they think and say what they feel? I think everyone likes that, right? So honesty and transparency is not only something that you will need to be seen for who you truly are in your dance, it's something that hopefully you will use in your life so that you can contact with the people around you from a place of truth, a place of trust, so others know they can trust you, and hopefully you can trust them, okay? And from a place of authenticity, which is then again very rare these days, okay? So dare to be seen for who you truly are. We're all human, guys. We're all human, and we're made of shadows and light. We're made of ugliness, and we're made of beauty. We are insecure, and we are secure, and we are self-confident, and we are fearful, and we are fearless. We are a beautiful mix of many things. And the most powerful thing you can do in your dance and in your life is to allow yourself to be fully human. Let others see you for who you really are. And I tell you another story. Another true story. I am the person of the stories. I have stories everywhere. Right now at our school, we are going through a course called How to Dance a Ballet Diawedi. It's been a beautiful ride. And I told my students that very often when I was performing in Egypt, where I started my career, with my own musicians, I would do the ballet diawedi. That was standard. Like 90% of my shows, I would do a ballet diawedi, fully improvised. And at some occasions, not always, I would cry. But the ugly cry, not the cute cry. Oh, no, the ugly cry. Like crying for real. And my makeup spread all over the place, and I was so aware that I was looking like hell, you know, and my mascara running in my face and people taking photos and making videos. It was a disaster. The thing is, I couldn't control myself, either because my accordionist was particularly emotional, so I was feeling his emotion and I couldn't control it, I couldn't stop it, and I didn't want to stop it also, because Egyptian dance is emotional. And Egyptian music is emotional. But of course there was a part of me that was shy, you know, because you know people are watching and you don't want to make a fool out of yourself, and you don't want to see pictures of you like Frankenstein, you know. But I never stopped myself from crying when I felt like it, because I knew that was priceless. That moment of truth, that moment of absolute vulnerability, my audiences could feel it. My musicians could feel it. I could feel it. And that was the highest point of the show, the highest point of the night, the highest point of my dance, and the highest point of our human interaction. My interaction with my musicians and our interaction with our audiences. So being seen for who you truly are, even if that's messy and chaotic and ugly, it's always worthy. And this is like a key, very important key to project yourself. Project yourself in all your humanity, all your divinity. Super important. Have the guts to be seen. Have the guts to be seen for who you truly are. Yalla. And you will see magic happening. Really. Okay, try it. What else did I write down here so that I wouldn't forget? Okay, how do you project yourself in life as in dance? In dance as in life, you develop your self-confidence. Now, you have heard me mentioning self-confidence because I believe without it, you're done. You are done, my friend. You're done. Without self-confidence, there is nothing we can achieve. Without self-confidence, we choose destructive enterprises, we choose destructive relationships, we believe we cannot handle things, we don't believe in ourselves, we don't believe in our dreams, we stay coward, we stay small, we stay in fear like mice. It is a killer. The lack of self-confidence is not only something that will stop you from projecting yourself when you do traveling steps, when you move around in your life, it's something that will kill your dreams. It will kill any possibility of evolution, any possibility of you envisioning your dream life and actually believing that you can make it happen. So self-confidence is, for me, it's one of the skills I believe should be addressed in schools. Let's put it this way. You know, just like empathy, just like mindfulness, just like honesty and responsibility, there are so many personal skills that I think children should develop from an early age. They should be taught. They should have their self-confidence developed early on, and very often the opposite happens. And I'm sure you went through experiences with teachers or colleagues or even parents that told you, who do you think you are? You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're the dumb one, or you always screw up, whatever, you know. Sometimes as we're growing up, we hear messages. As we're growing up, we receive words that can shape our lives, words that stay with us, demeaning words, destructive words. And as adults, we have the chance to reparent ourselves and to question those things that we've been told, either by parents, colleagues, family members, friends, teachers in school, strangers, you know. I had a cousin when I was very little. There you go, another story. A cousin that didn't like me. She didn't like me for some reason. She is 2 years older. And I remember one afternoon, we were for some reason alone in our living room in my home. And she grabbed my face. She looked at my face. She grabbed my face and she told me, "You are so ugly, Joana. You look like a boot from the army," something like that. In Portuguese, we have an expression when someone is very, very ugly. You have an expression calling them like a boot. You look like an army boot, something like that. I was very little, but I understood what she said. I mean, how could I not? You're so ugly. You look like a boot from the army. And I believed her. I don't know why. I didn't even get along with her, but I believed her. And you have no idea, for so many years, I thought I was the ugliest girl. And it didn't matter that people told me otherwise. I believed my cousin. In that particular afternoon, for some reason, when she held my face and looked deep into my eyes and told me, "You're so ugly. You're so ugly. You look like a boot from the army." I said, "Okay, I believe you." And I believed her for many, many years. It took a lot of work to undress that, to undo that. And even today, believe it or not, I'm still undressing it. So it's so important for us to see what we believe in, what was told about us as we were growing up, and what was kept in our heart, because that is also gonna make us shrink. It's gonna make us stop from shining and developing the self-confidence that we need to believe that we are unique. We are not better than anyone. We are not worse than anyone either. We are who we are. And we have our quality as human beings. Nobody can take away that from us, you know? So self-confidence, I would say it's perhaps the number one quality for everything. Without self-confidence, and maybe courage, self-confidence and courage, which I think are connected, by the way. You cannot project yourself, you cannot project your charisma, you cannot do traveling steps, you cannot move forward with anything important in your dance or in your life. So developing your self-confidence, guys, I cannot stress enough. It's like key. I mean, really key. Okay, ask for help. Then again, join our school. Self-confidence is something I work with my students all the time in many ways, sometimes without them even noticing. I'm very sneaky, but I'm the good kind of sneak, you know. I will sneak on them self-confidence and self-love and a lot of nice stuff. Okay. Hi Tanya, Allah. Tanya is saying wise words. Thank you, Tanya. I'm glad it resonates with you. I'm glad. Thank you for telling me. So self-confidence is a major thing for energy projection. What else do I have here for you? Breathe. Breathing. Breathe more, guys. Breathe more. This will help you project your energy, project your presence, because once you breathe consciously. Bring your attention to the present moment by breathing, okay? Every time we breathe consciously, we are in the present moment, we are in ourselves, we are with our soul, we are with our bodies and our entire beings. And whenever you are in possession of yourself, all of who you are, you're ready to spread it. You're ready to give it. You're ready to share it, okay? So breath, super important. Create breathing pauses. I tell this to my students all the time. Create breathing pauses in your dance and in your day. Stop every once in a while just to breathe. Yeah. Do it while you're dancing. Do it in your daily life throughout the day. It will help you bring more energy, more presence, and it will help you gather more of yourself so that you can share it in your dance and in your life. Last but not least, believe you deserve to take up space. Ho, 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 ho. Believe you deserve to take up space. Where do I start? Most of us, I'm generalizing, don't kill me, I'm generalizing. Most of us have been taught to shrink. The extreme dieting, the bulimia, the anorexia, they are all symptoms of one disease. They want our body to disappear. They want us to become invisible. So once you don't have a physical body, you don't have anything, because your physical body is your physical vehicle in this incarnation. So when I don't have a physical body, or when my physical body is weak, everything else in me is weak. Because everything is connected. My mind is connected with my physical body. My emotional life, my spiritual life is connected with my physical body. So if I don't want to take up space, if I shrink my physical body through dieting, through anorexia, through bulimia, through any means, what I'm actually doing is I'm shrinking myself. I'm shrinking the entire person, not only the physical body. So believing that we deserve to take up space, that we are not here to shrink, to become smaller, to become invisible, it's very important. I grew up listening to my parents telling me with the best intentions. I love my parents, but I'm also aware of what they did right and what they didn't do right. And I learned from it, okay? And I have these conversations with them very often. I tell them, why did you tell me this? Why did you do this? What, you didn't understand? I was a hell of a kid, and I am a hell of an adult, as you can imagine. Headache. They used to tell me, don't bother people. Lower your tone of voice. You're talking too loud. You're laughing too loud. Don't bother people. If someone offers you something, tell them no, not to bother them. It's considered rude to accept an invitation or cookies or something. No, don't bother them. This message of don't bother them with your presence, with your voice, with your acceptance. Yes, I accept the cookie. Thank you. This is something I've heard throughout my childhood. And I believe that most of us, especially women, they hear similar messages. Don't be too loud. Don't be too fierce. Don't take up too much space. Watch your weight. Don't let yourself go. What does that even mean? Don't let yourself go. Have you ever thought about that? Well, don't let yourself go. Why shouldn't I let myself go? Should I be repressed all the time? What do you mean don't let myself go? I want to let myself go and live and be happy, life is short. So taking up space and believing that you deserve to take up that space and not shrinking, not becoming smaller than you are, not dimming your light in order not to make waves. It's just a non-negotiable part of shining, of projecting yourself, of working with traveling steps, of presenting your energy, the best version of your energy in your dance and in your life. It is super important also that you understand that when you take up space, you will bother a lot of people. Then again, you have to be ready, guys. There is no world where everybody loves everybody and everybody admires everybody and everybody. No, there are always haters in every area. It's not only in Egyptian dance, it's everywhere, There will always be someone who gets annoyed by your presence. And the sharper, the shinier your presence is, the more it will bother anyone who is not in their presence, who is not in their power. That's why people say empowered people empower people and disempowered people disempower people. Okay, because if I'm not in my power, if I'm not comfortable with my own light, if I'm not owning my own light, anyone who is gonna own their light is gonna mirror back what I'm not doing. It's gonna mirror back my shadow. So I'm gonna feel nervous, annoyed. I don't know why I don't like her. I just don't like her. Yeah, I know why you don't like her. Because she or he, they are mirroring, they are mirrors of a light that you're not daring to shine. So it is annoying, of course. And it is a reminder of what you could be doing for yourself, but are not. Okay, guys. So these are the questions I had selected for you. I hope you enjoyed this session. I always try to bring themes that I know dancers involved with Egyptian dance like to know about. I'm going to invite you to join our newsletter as usual, Joana Saahirah's World Newsletter, if you want to be the first to know all our news, exclusive content, gifts, stuff that I only share internally with my people. You will find the link to subscribe to the newsletter either in the comments to this video if you're watching it on YouTube, if you're watching it on Facebook, and in the description box. That's the correct. If you're watching the replay in my YouTube channel, Joana Saahirah's YouTube channel, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go there and subscribe. I always have beautiful stuff coming on, and in this new season of Joana Saahirah's World, I have even better content coming to my channel. I'm very excited. It's a little overwhelming because it's a lot of work, more than I already have. I don't know how my days are gonna stretch, but it's gonna be worth it. So subscribe to Joana Saahirah's YouTube channel, click on the notifications bell button so that you know every time I have a new video available. And consider joining our Traveling Steps in Egyptian Dance workshop that I'm gonna hold next weekend at our school. This is gonna be a workshop focused on traveling steps and charisma and presence, and how to bring that self-confidence and that magnetism to the table in your dance and in your life. Then again, you're gonna find the link for more information about our workshop with an early bird price finishing tomorrow, so run. You're gonna find it in the comments to this replay here on Facebook, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you're gonna find it in the description box below this video. I love you guys. It's always a pleasure to share these themes, these questions, and my answers with you. I hope you enjoy these Juju live sessions as well. We're gonna meet very soon. Until then, receive my love and my warmest usual kiss, okay? Mwah! I'm gonna stay here with my coffee for a little while, and I will see you soon.